Hey Virgos, and welcome to your November 2017 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to give you guys hopefully another amazing reading for your month ahead. And wow, Virgos, check you guys out. I feel like energetically you guys are glistening. Like you have arrived. You're kind of honestly the star of the zodiac this month, as when I see your cards, it just hits me in a much more positive way than a lot of the other signs. Jupiter has gone into Scorpio, and for a lot of the signs, it has been kind of a crisis type of energy, because Jupiter in Scorpio, regardless of what sign you are, regardless of whether you're very much activated by Scorpio energy, collectively Jupiter in Scorpio is a purging type of energy. It is an energy where you detox what is no longer good for you, where structures that have not been working out well and have been built on unsolid foundations fall down. Jupiter in Scorpio is a very falling type of energy. It's in essence, it's gravity in astrology, and a lot of the other signs are not responding very favorably to that type of energy, because it's been, I think, easy for the other signs to build things which aren't so solid, and easy for the other signs to, like make mountains out of molehills, be able to not see reality. But not you, Virgo. Since quite a long time ago, Virgo has had to be very honest with themselves, very real, very grounded in reality. I feel like ever since around 2012 and 2013, you guys had a really strong experience around that time where you had to teach yourself and you had to really pull back from humanity. And for some of you, it might have happened more recently as well, but really you guys know what to do. It's like you guys are functioning in a really amazing way moving into November, and you guys know I'm not about false positivity. Just with the energy that I'm seeing, you're so activated. And yes, you have more major arcana cards than anyone else this month. You have more energizing cards than anyone else this month, which gives you a lot of responsibility. And if you are in a place where you're being delusional, or you're trying to build structures in your life which can't really be consistent, it could be a difficult month for you. But I feel like most of Virgos aren't about that anymore. I feel like the majority of Virgo energy is ready to do something real, tangible, and beneficial to themselves and others. And quite honestly, Virgos, November is a month where you can meet a soulmate type of energy. November is a month where you can finally start the business. November is the month where the business can finally start being profitable. November is the month where you can mend old fences, where you can rebuild old bridges which were burned in the past, and where you ultimately come through really quick action into a new way of being, a new way of living, a new perception of life. So really amazing to see how this Jupiter and Scorpio energy is hitting you guys, as the angle is kind of not really that big of a deal in astrology. I mean, sextiles are powerful, but they're not the most activating type of energy. But I think that it's perfect for you guys in the sense that you already had kind of the experience that a lot of people are having with Jupiter and Scorpio, where you had to have the purge, where you had to have the detox, where you had to have the traumatic experience. And now with that softer angle, you can use it in a more harmonious way. So really wonderful to see you guys thriving in this way. You should thrive in November. So if you're a Virgo who's feeling really traumatized right now, if you're feeling really run over by energy, feeling very drained, depleted, like you can't do anything, I feel that it's coming from somewhere else in your chart. I would go and watch Leo. So for those of you Virgos who have a lot of Leo, which is very likely, because the planets which stay close to the sun in their orbit will most likely either be in Leo, Virgo, or Libra when you're born. So it's very easy for Virgo to have Leo placements. So if you have a lot of Leo in your chart, you could be having a more difficult time. A lot of Taurus or Scorpio, any of the fixed signs really, and Aquarius to a lesser degree, you can really struggle during this time. But I feel that any Virgo energy will do you well and be well aspected. So it's a month where you also get more fortitude, as you have the Strength card. And let's just look at all the major arcana cards you guys have. You have the Magician, you have the World, you have the Sun, you have the Lovers, you have Strength, and you have the Chariot. Not only is that a huge spike of major arcana, it also happens to be really outwardly focused, directed, momentous major arcana archetypes. So there's just so much for you guys to work with. And I feel like maybe some of you are feeling a lot on your shoulders, or feeling like you have a lot to live up to, like really big shoes to fill. Fill is kind of an energy that I feel from Virgo, but it feels like you do it very seamlessly, very effortlessly, and in a graceful way. And that's definitely how you're encouraged to be during this month. Despite being perhaps a very flamboyant type of energy, a very overwhelming type of energy to other people, there is definitely a message from the universe to be graceful, as indicated by the Strength card. And having Two of Cups reverse as well as Seven of Cups, Talks about maybe not being very aware of how you're coming off. Not everyone, in fact, Virgos, like you may be the only sign this month that is doing this well. So if you're really showing your excesses to other people, like, oh yeah, I made this amount of money this month. It's more than I made that year. It's more than I made last year. This is the money that I made this month. Or maybe you're thinking, oh, look at my new car. Look at my new jewelry. Look at how far I've come. Look at my new house. I've just gone on vacation for 3 weeks and I've come back a changed person. And I think you should do it. And that, be careful for things like that because you can really overwhelm people and people can start to dislike you for how good you're doing. As I feel that's something that Virgo has struggled with for a while now, is being successful and other people maybe not wanting you to be successful, because Virgo traditionally has been such a supporting type of energy. You're mutable earth, which is passive, feminine, and can sort of be adaptable in the sense that you're really good at maybe supporting somebody else make the money or supporting somebody else do the business thing. But ever since your activation and your trauma experience, I feel that Virgo has really burst onto the scene and been able to make their own way in life, and people just aren't used to experiencing that from you. So there's kind of a natural aversion to that. But anyway, before I get too crazy, I want to go ahead and get into the week-to-week reading for you guys and see what more specifically is coming forward. Week number 1, the world reversed, rooted down by the magician. So much power here. You could have an echo of some kind of difficult experience that you had in your life. The specific trauma that you feel might be motivating your experience most right now may sort of be echoing here, because the world upside down is always kind of chaotic. It's like pretty much the only... Well, no, there are a few other red flags in this reading, but I feel like it's the only problem area in the sense that the other cards aren't so depressive. Like when the world is reversed, it can make you feel like your world is upside down. It can make things feel uncalibrated. And it usually comes because there's some kind of expectation or aspiration that we're not letting go of, which has already lived its time. The world reverse has to do with leaving chapters open and not closing chapters when they need to be closed. Trying to persevere or trying to continue something which can no longer exist is the essence of the world reversed. But it's interesting, Virgo, for that to be rooted down by the magician, because that's really like the antithesis of that energy. That says that you have the tools available to create what you're setting out to do. It says that you're ready. It says that you're not as unprepared as you may think that you are. Any kind of self-dialogue which relates to I'm not ready yet, I need to save more money before I make the investment, I need to save more before I quit my job, all of that's not good. It's you're ready. You're as ready as you'll ever be to do what it is that you're setting out to do. And here's where we need to distinguish, or I rather say like integrate these types of energies. So opposite the world reversed with the magician. So old things that you have felt were not intuitive or were not authentic, that you still feel that you should continue, that you feel like need to be left open, that you feel like need to go on. Those things have to come to a close here. Things that you're doing for posterity's sake, things that you're doing to validate the egos of other people, or to even validate the ego of yourself if it's not really tied down to anything with substance. Those things have to close out, because when something becomes just a matter of the ego, or when something becomes just a matter of proving something to yourself or somebody else, it's gone. It's dead already. Like, because the ego tends to be late to the party is what I usually say. Like, the ego doesn't realize what it has until it's gone. So when you get really attached to something or really attached to needing to do something, it's usually too late. Although there's a whole nother side to that type of thing, which isn't really emphasized in your reading, in the sense that sometimes people can be activated to do something that they set out to do a long time ago, but it's not egocentric. It's not something that you feel like you have to prove, or that you feel like relies on other people. It's just something that naturally, intuitively, you express to your world and falls into place, okay? And comparing that to the magician, the things that you have wanted to do, the things that you actually are not investing your complete ego in, you're ready to do. The things which primarily don't have to do with other people. And that's really the easiest way. It's kind of hard for me to articulate some of those more subtle differences in energetic activation, but really the easiest way to see is like, am I doing this for myself or am I doing this for other people? The things that you're doing for yourself, Virgo, for the materialization and manifestation of your goals, your dreams, are going to be very activated and you're ready. The things that you're doing to prove people from your past, or the things that you're doing to project some kind of false image which isn't you, that has to end, okay? And you move into the second week with the sun rooted down by 2 of Cups reversed. It's It's a very cleansing type of experience, I feel, as you move into the second week of November. It's a wonderful time for a detox. It's a wonderful time to go to the spa, to be in the sauna, to be releasing toxins. You will probably see things for the way that they are, and it comes much more easily to you than I think it does other signs during this month, but that process is never easy per se. When you see that something that you have thought was always one way is never really was that way. That's never easy, but it's easier for you than it is for most right now. Allow yourself to be in the sun, allow yourself to be cleansed by sunlight, and also give yourself that affirmation or visualize. Visualize like sunlight radiating from you and, surpassing the shadows, like cleansing out the poison in people around you as well, and sort of showing you people's true colors, because I feel like maybe you haven't been able to see people's true colors for a long time, and that goes both directions. I feel on one in one idea, you haven't been able to see how people have been against you, and you haven't been able to see that maybe some people that you've been holding very close don't actually have your best intentions. But on the other hand, Virgo, the really strong way that I feel that this is emphasized is perhaps people that you feel like are on your side, people that you feel like are your soul group, people that you feel like are your tribe, perhaps may not be. And you definitely have to allow yourself to be tuned into reality and be tuned into what the actual like meat and potatoes of the situation is, because it feels pretty obvious, and you're blessed by like the energy of the sun, the magician, the chariot, strength to see past any like obstacle or rose-colored glasses that may sort of be existing in the situation as well. On sort of another sad idea could be that maybe a soulmate relationship that you feel that you have right now is kind of falling through the cracks. Two of Cups reversed has to do with again, seeing someone's true intentions, but in a way that you realize that they were never on my side in the first place. I feel like this comes from the past, though. Like, I don't feel like it has so much to do with people in your life right now. I feel like it has to do with realizing, wow, that person never loved me, even though they said it so many times a day. Or, wow, I only really loved that person when I lost control of the relationship. Those types of things, like realizing why the changes happened, realizing what you had to lose and how you lost it, and ultimately healing through that. And that's what, like, people call me a negative tarot reader, because I do talk a lot about loss. I talk a lot about coping from trauma. I talk a lot about difficult experiences, but it's with the purpose of building those up, because that's one of the most healing experiences, when you can acknowledge loss, when you know why loss happened, and when you know how to not attract the same experience again in your life. That's the most positive, empowering thing in the world. If you try to build yourself up with false positivity, that's the most negative thing you can do in the world, because that's not how math works. That's not how this universe works. It has to match up. Every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. It's physics. So ultimately, what's happening to you in the second week may feel quite sad, Virgo, but it's a very healing experience and very good for you, okay? Moving into the third week, you guys have Three of Cups rooted down by strength. Definitely a huge transformation has happened, I feel, right in the middle of November. Like, cut that Lover's card right down the middle, and you've sort of transformed as a person. You're celebrating in the third month the newfound strength that you have, the new emotional fortitude that you have materialized. And also, I feel like the realization of new goals, which is a wonderful thing, I think, for Virgo. It's like maybe you have something that you've been aspiring to for a long time, and you've always said, no, I can't do that. No, I don't have the collateral to do that. No, I don't have the capital to do that. I don't. All of that kind of stuff, all of these reasons why you can't do something. It's like you finally dismiss that, and you finally think, okay, well, the first step would be this, and I'm going to jump on that. And I feel like you're celebrating that. I feel like maybe you're networking as well. Things like real estate or things that have to do with valuable resources seem to be very emphasized for you during this time. Really nice to see you benefiting from things which have value or things which aren't pipe dreams. Just sort of random messages there, and being graceful too. As a lot of people might fall out of favor with you this month, or you might find that everybody is just not quite what you want. Perhaps you just wake up one morning and you hate everything and you need a big change. Don't be flamboyant about that. Be graceful about it and be classy. Because when Virgo isn't classy, when Virgo isn't graceful, and this is a lot to come from like a Sagittarius ruled person like myself, as we are like the most ungraceful people. But when Virgo's not really graceful, when Virgo's not really classy and it's too flamboyant, people seek to cause you problems. I don't know what it is. It's just a fact. And if you have something in Sag or Aries or Leo or really anything that's too fiery, like that can mitigate that. But just a lot of strong Virgo energy, especially paired with like Pisces or other earth signs, the world relies on you being classy and gentle, and it feels like you can do what you need to do in that way, and it feels like maybe you actually enjoy that. Moving into the fourth week, you have the Chariot rooted down by Seven of Cups. Yeah, the Seven of Cups is another sort of red flag that I was talking about. It's not necessarily a bad energy, but it's usually never completely positive either. I've never really thought that was a positive card because it has a lot to do with, like I said earlier, like making mountains out of molehills, a lot to do with false positivity, a lot to do with thinking too long term, like having this amazing goal or aspiration and refusing to fill in the gaps, and then blaming people around you or your existential crisis in life for not being able to achieve it, even though you never really actually put in effort. The Seven of Cups has a lot to do with failure and a lot to do with trying to blame outside circumstances for that failure. Although it can also be, in that way, it's also the same essence of being able to see things through rose-colored glasses. Like, for those of you who are in real estate, this is wonderful, because maybe you'll start like flipping houses, where you can see the potential in things. This is a really good thing about this card, is what I feel is the best thing. Like, you can see the potential in people. You can see the potential in like rundown houses. You can see the potential in fixer-uppers in all territories of life. But you have to ask yourself, am I willing to put in the work to make this real? Some of you, maybe the Chariot will energize you in that way and give you some natural luck and abundance with it. So some of you, yeah, some of you totally. But you definitely have to be far away from that trauma. You have to be far away from ego battles and changes of heart and any kind of fluidity in what you want to do with your life, it feels to me. If you're really set in what you want to do and who you want to be, then it feels like you can be a fixer-upper, or you can fix other people or other things up. But if you have too much, again, adaptability on what you're doing with your life, you're going to be overwhelmed by it. So do make solid, rational decisions about things which take a lot to make function. But you're going to be blessed with a lot of energy, one way or another, and a lot of ability to move things forward. But make sure you're moving the right things forward this month. The Lovers is your central theme. Decisions, crossroads, all of these major strong energies which are popping up in your reading feel to me to be able to branch out into new careers, new relationships, new. Everything is going to be new to you, Virgo, I feel, by like January. And you have just a little bit more time here to flirt with the old and to not necessarily, be completely changed as a person. It's like I said, and I believe Cancer's reading, or maybe Leo's reading as well, this is a really wonderful time to sort of enjoy it while it's still here. For those of you who are in the relationship that you know is about to end, take some time to enjoy that person. Take some time to enjoy the lifestyle that you've developed, because it will never return, and it will never be back the way that it is now. Something about your life is changing very drastically, and it would be nice to just sit and look around and think, wow, this is what I've become. This is where I am. I'll probably never be here again in my life. That type of thing is very empowering to Virgo this month. So accept that in and choose to be motivated and empowered by it. And you will come out of November with some amazing new opportunities and ambitions for life. Anyway, I hope that this reading resonated for you guys. If you would like to book a private reading with me, that link should be popping up in the center of your screen now, as well as you can check out my Humanity and Fall video, which is to the left, and the playlist to watch your Sun, Moon, Rising sign on the right. You can check the description box as well to see something that I wrote up about Jupiter and Scorpio, as well as get some ad-free, exciting early content on my Patreon page. Much love to you guys, and I will be talking to you in December. Bye.